And to be honest, that was when I realised I didn't like sucking off elephant cocks. So it was
Oh,
kind of,
really?
yeah, that was the interesting
It's
part of it.
surprising. It's
I
surprising.
know. I know. God, in my opinion, that was the best story I've ever told and will probably never tell again.
Yeah, I know. Well, I had a similar thing with a hippo.
Oh,
So
see, you was my inspiration to be
yeah, I get it. I get it. I get it. So I'm not allowed back at Alton Towers now or any place like that. So
I bought the day pass. It's fine, to be honest. If I bought the summer one, I'd be well pissed off.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So my
Hello,
face will be
guys.
next to yours on the posters now.
Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of Sit Down for Stand Up. I've been told a lot about this guy, a lot of good things. So yeah, I had to get him on, to be honest. Ben Summers, great comedian who also runs the Ginger Giggle Club in Grays, Essex. How's it going, brother man? You good?
Yeah, really good. Thank you. Thanks for having me on. I do appreciate it.
No, honestly, it's all the what's not the appreciation's all mine. The honour, that's the fucking badger. The honour, the honour is all mine, man. The honour's all mine. So yeah, just so you know, the point of it is, to talk about comedy, your life, how you got into it, why, mistakes you made. I love hearing about the times you bombed because I love a
Yeah.
humble. And yeah, hopefully people have a laugh. And more importantly, hopefully, they can learn something. And if not, well, yeah, fuck them. So
Yeah, exactly. It's my journey. I don't
yeah,
care what they think.
it's my way now, bitch. So,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
so I was the first one off the bat. How, why, and when did we get into comedy?
It's a funny one, really, because I've always been the funny kid.
Yeah.
When I was at school, I was the only single parent. It's not fashionable like it is now. So there was only one of me. I was only 3 foot tall, NHS glasses, braces. So rather than getting beat up all the time, because I had single parent dinner tickets back then, so people
Okay.
couldn't nick my dinner money. So
Oh, okay. And that's when
so
dinners were good. The
yeah,
lunch dinners were
exactly.
good.
I
Like, there
love
was
school
burgers
dinners.
and donuts.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. And like great puddings as well that were really bad for you. So I've always had that in the back of my mind. So I was always trying to do funny things at school and be the funny guy and all that kind of stuff, but never had the balls to actually do the comedy. So then when I got a bit older, again, I was always the funny guy. I used to do a bit of DJing and do a bit of talking over the Peter Kay's talking over the mic kind of thing,
yeah,
trying
yeah.
to get people taking the piss out of people. But I never really got the balls to do it until a year ago when I thought it was a spam email from Ultra Comedy coming to my inbox saying, "Have you ever tried stand-up comedy? Free 8-week lessons. You perform at the backyard in front of 300 people." Signed up to it, thought nothing of it, and then I got your first meeting is this time at this place. Went along and absolutely loved it. So that's sort of where it's all grown from, really.
Okay, how many people started on the course with you? So how many people got to the end?
So I think we had 80 odd, I think. So
Yeah.
it was mad. And they said it was like one of the most popular ones. So we had about 80 people. And then I think we had, was it 4, 8, 12, 16? Must have been about 40 finish. Because I think there was like we had a morning show and an evening show.
So that's a long fucking show, isn't it?
Yeah, so obviously there was a break and all the crowd left after our morning one. And
Yeah.
then the evening lot come in. And obviously they've been drinking quite a bit. So there was apparently the evening one was a lot more rowdy than our one. But it went down a bomb, so I was obviously flying high after that, thinking I am the next Lee Evans or whatever. Absolutely couldn't touch me. I was applying for everything, all the open mics, all that kind of stuff, all around London, trying to learn my thing. So yeah, since then I've obviously had opportunities to start my own comedy club up, which is absolutely thriving and going absolutely mental.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's how I caught wind of you because I have seen the Ginger Giggle Club quite a bit, out there. I've seen the lineups you've been producing, and I mean, I'm scared to apply for them. You got some fucking heavy hitters coming around your way.
Yeah.
So,
You're always
yeah.
welcome, mate. You're always welcome.
See, nepotism.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you can tell them the elephant story. That's the thing. That's what I
Oh
love
no,
to
they
hear.
can't. That's too rude for them guys. For the you got, oh, the terms of service on YouTube. We're gonna get away with it these days.
Yeah, no, probably not.
So, after sort of the first gig, how did the second gig go? Because usually it's like snap back to reality. You haven't got
Um,
all those people there, and it's sort of like then it's like 6 people, all comedians in a dingy room.
yeah, I mean, it went that way. So obviously, backyard, it was 300 people, and I had them all laughing. It filmed. You can hear the crowd. It was like electric night. I thought, yes, I got people up afterwards saying you killed it. One of the top ones of that afternoon. So then I started applying for these other ones, 5 minute bringers and stayers, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I think I went to GB Comedy.
Okay, yeah.
G&B Comedy in London, and I turned up there, and I went to go do that gig, and he said we had a booking of 20 students coming down, and they cancelled last minute, so it was just me and a few comedians. So I was like, oh, great, that's not. But it again went down well. Met a few comedians from there, and then it sort of went on a high, and I was like royal, like firing on all cylinders, super confident. So everything I thought I said was funny. So the persona was brilliant. People were just buying into it. And then I went to do Remedy in Chelmsford. And I got there and I said, how long am I doing? He said, well, have you got 12 minutes? And obviously I've been doing my famous 5. Yeah. So I sat there and quickly wrote 12. But luckily, one of the comedians you've had on before, Alfie, he went first. And he told a joke about his dad leaving him. And he said his dad's name was Gary. So my dad left me and his name was Gary. So I had an instant in with the crowd, because then we were picking on someone in the front row that we called our dad.
Yes, so I know he does that in his set. So
yeah, so we whenever we gig together, we always talk about our both being brothers, probably somewhere along the line. So it was really good. Cool. Yeah, it was good timing, and it just made me feel a bit more at ease. And I told about my granddad taking over from my dad and being a bit of a paedophile and stuff like that. And it just went on from there because it was a Christmas show. And then I did
paedophiles. We love it.
Yeah, exactly. Like with bells on the lot. So, and then I finished off with my normal set, and it went down a storm, and it was the longest set I did. So I thought I was untouchable then. Yeah. So then I was applying for bigger and bigger shows and trying to get in with these shows. And then I come crashing back down when I did Three Monkeys in Colchester. Yeah. It's a brand new comedy night. And I said to him, is there any chance of getting a quick 5 or anything like that? He said, yeah, come down. We want new comedians as well. And as we got there, 2 of the main comedians hadn't turned up. Yeah. So he said, could you push it to a 15? I said, of course I can, thinking I'm the absolute bollocks. Yeah. There's no problem here. I was laughing with the comedians, making them laugh. And so he got up on stage and he said, blah, 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 introduced me. And I got up on stage and I sort of got up and I started taking the mickey out of the local area, being the only famous thing they got was a scone that was built made in 1912. But there was no punchline to it. And then it sort of died. So then I panicked, so I died before. And then I tried to take the piss out of a guy with ginger hair. He got annoyed. And then I went back to the scone because I thought that's in my head somewhere. So I said, oh, you must have been around to this old guy. He went, I'm only in my 30s. And then it sort of threw me again. And it just died for 15 minutes. I just absolutely died. So I was like, oh, no, what's going on here? So it was a big crowd as well. So it's like 50 people, I think, 50, 60 people. It wasn't just like a tiny crowd. And I thought, oh, no, I've got to get back on the bike. So I did a Monday night one, which was a bringer. But if you're booking and travel far enough, you didn't have to bring a bringer. Yeah. Up to this venue thinking, just get back on it, do your 5, get back to your comfort zone. The first half went by and there were some really good comedians on there, all that sort of stuff, but they all left. So then I was left with two young girls. There must have been about 18. One was after me performing and it was her bringer. And part of my act was saying about older men, and I had been fingered by a doctor because I had piles. And I bend over and talk about my arsehole a lot and show them and all that kind of stuff. And these 2 girls were just sitting there thinking, what the fuck is this guy talking about? And I was like, you'll get piles one day, girls, when you've had a baby. And they just did not engage at all. So I had a bad gigs. And I was thinking, I'm never going to get this back again. But since then, I've done a few more here and there and sort of got back to it a little bit. But the Ginger Giggle Club takes up most of my time at the moment. So I am trying to get back into the live bits.
Okay, well, we'll step into the Ginger Giggle bit in a bit. I mean, you do need the bad gigs to sort of re-humble you. And I think the biggest fear is bombing. But when you bomb, well, lightly as fucking bad as that, it's sort of like, you know what, fuck it now. Like, if I can do that, then,
haven't I? So
yeah, is that you earn your stripes? That's the way you do it. You know what I mean? If you was on cruise control the whole time, then you're not going to learn from it. No. So yeah, that's actually commendable. And the thing is that what I find sometimes on stage, you can last forever. Do you know what I mean? Like when it's working and the crowd works there, every single thing. Do you know what I mean? You could do an hour, just rip everything. And there's somewhere it's like 10 minutes feels like eternity.
100%. Yeah. Like I said, my 12 minutes of that Three Monkeys, I thought I'd been on there for about an hour. Yeah. And I was like, what is going on? I was sweating. I was getting redder and redder and more nervous. So, I've learned that. But like I say, once you've done that, once you get up on stage again, because I'm quite a fast speaker, so I sort of try and whip through it, and I've got to learn to sort of stop and allow the jokes to come out, which I'm learning from doing a bit more MCing now. But on that stage, I was just zipping through it, trying to get through it, make it go quicker. But then I learned from the two girl situation that it doesn't matter what happens, give it a pause, think about it, let them sort of take it in. So I have learned from that to be slower, take it in. If people don't laugh, make a joke about it, dismiss it. And I've seen more comedians do that, which is good. They just sort of dismiss it. Okay, you don't like that one, who cares? I'll get on with another one, sort of thing. So
I think the best thing, and you do learn this over time, is if something does go shit, you have to address it.
Yeah.
Sort of play down to it. Is that I use this segue I always love. Is if a joke sucks, I just go, okay, well, I'm going to call that joke Israel because it just bombed. It's such low hanging fruit. Do you know what I mean? But it gets that chuckle. It's like, right, okay. But it's also like the perfect segue because then I can move on to anything else I want.
Yeah, exactly. There's no full stop with that. You can, like say, just move on and get on with it, kind of thing.
Yeah, but it's weird. So I think I've actually used that now in every single one of my sets, which means I have bombed in every single one of my sets I've ever done.
That's not a good thing, is it? That's not good at all.
It's almost like I hope this joke sucks, so I can fill it out, to be honest. So doing MCs and doing your fixed sets. What does your heart sort of lean towards?
I mean, I love doing the MCing. It just gives me a bit of freedom to talk about the comedians that bomb. I sort of take the piss out of the crowd a little bit, sort of have a bit of banter in between about what the comedians have just said, sort of pick up on their jokes and lead on from it and sort of say my own bit. So I am enjoying that, but I am starting to write down my jokes and what I'm saying and how it's going. So I'm trying to get a set. So I did, I got back into it a couple of weeks ago and did a 10-minute, and it did go really, really well. But it's like the first time I've done it for a while. So I had a few notes of, this is where you're going with it. So I had a couple of stories, 3 jokes thrown in there, and it seemed to land. So I am going to try and I'm really busy at the moment. I've got a holiday coming up at the end of the week. When I come back, I'm going to start applying again. But like London's a pain. I mean, I live quite close to London, but it's getting bringers and stayers and stuff, isn't it? So I'm going to look sort of the other way now in sort of Essex, Cambridge, Ipswich, these kind of places, which ain't too bad to get to. Harlow, I think there's another like couple in Harlow.
There are some really good ones in London, that aren't bringers. I'm a activist against bringer spots.
Yes.
I'm 100 against them. I believe in Darwinism, natural selection. If they can't bring people themselves, they can't feel the night deserves to die. And I think they do it on the false economics of, okay, let me rephrase this. If they classify themselves as an open mic, you can do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
But the second you say you're a comedy night and you charge for bums on seats, bringers, no, I'm against it personally.
Yeah.
But obviously, it's a necessity in the industry. It's something I don't want to be involved in. And skip to that stage. And I never have to sort of do it. So, okay, I've got absolutely loads of questions I love asking MCers, but I'll bang this one out first. Have you ever done any competitions or anything?
Not yet. I'm just starting to line up some more competition now, because there's one in Hatfield, because I used to live in Welwyn Garden City. So there's a couple in Hatfield that are competitions. So I'm looking to go to sign up to those. I can't remember what they're called now, but one's in the Red Lion and stuff like that. So, and then there was one that I did do previously down in Watford. So
I left in Watford, mate.
You lived in it, did you?
No. Because you're from Grays, so you're not down from Watford.
Oh, so up to Watford.
There we go. Oh,
yeah,
I don't know why I'd die on that hill, but go on.
Yes, up to Watford. So I did this competition, and it was the first one I ever did. It was only a 5-minute thing, but then they promote you. The guys in it, I hadn't heard of them before, but they're quite big in the industry. I can't remember the bloody name. It was a while ago now, but it was a black and white checkered flag. I'll find out somewhere along the line. But I went to being all nervous, and I'm trying to navigate myself and talk to everybody and all that kind of stuff. And I sat next to a guy, and he said he'd been doing it 5 years. So when I was chatting to him and stuff like that, he was like recommending books, how to do it, what I should do, and how to do all that kind of stuff. So I was taking it all in, thinking, I'm going to be a good learner. He's the king. Yeah, exactly. So I was thinking, this guy's the bollocks. I was Googling him. I can see he had a one-man show coming up later in the year and all that sort of stuff. I thought, I've got to tag onto this guy. So then the competition, the way they did it was a bucket to make it fair. So there was no lineup. They'd just pick names out of the bucket.
Right.
So he said, right, let's go, competition time. We're going to pull the first name out, pull this comedian's name out. And he was like, shit, I'm not ready. So I said, what do you mean I'm not ready? He goes, I'm just not ready. Don't matter. Up he walked, got to the microphone and went, right, away you go. Nothing for 5 minutes. He had to finish short. It just like, right, I can sell you drugs.
Yeah.
And that was it. And everyone was like, what? And then he comes back down and said, I just don't know what happened. My brain just said, you ain't having any jokes today. And it just stopped him. And I thought, oh my God, if you can do it 5 years.
And do that.
Happens, yeah. It just opened my eyes to it. And I thought, it can happen to anybody.
You should have got up and done the same thing.
Yeah.
I've learned from the best here. I've got no fucking jokes.
This is my routine now. Yeah. So, and that went down quite well. And I think the competition said there was 3 of us that stood out, but the guy that won it finished dead on 5 minutes, and they were looking for that as well. So I think I'd done 5:34 because I had a little joke in the middle from there was a woman before, and she was talking about guys with big noses and how she sits on their face to get herself off and stuff like that.
Brilliant, yeah.
So when I got up, I said, just so you know, from the first half, if there are any ladies still here, my nose is massive. And he got a really good laugh and stuff like that, but then it sort of threw me off a little bit. So I ended up doing about 5.5 minutes, but she said the 3 of us were very, very good. It was very close, so which was good.
Okay, what, they didn't give you like a light or anything to warn you on times?
No, they said they weren't going to do that because they wanted you to sort of time. So what happened, I think, was on a 5.5 minutes, they sort of put a red light up to say you've gone miles over.
Okay.
So, but she said we tell you when you're doing the competition, it is a 5-minute act. If you go over, you go over. She said, but if everyone had got over it, we have to flash. But she said people were going under. But yeah, she said it was just timing in the end. But he was a very like Tim Vine joke, boom, 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 boom,
right,
for 5 whole minutes.
I mean, I've not even asked you this one yet. I mean, I appreciate one-line comedy. I've got a lot of respect for it, but it's not my cup of tea personally. Like okay, let me ask this first. What type of comedy do you do?
I do Billy Connolly's my hero.
Very cool. So a storyteller.
So I try to stand as much stories as possible.
That's my favorite type of comedy, storytellers, because I love. One thing I love about storytellers, with one-line comedy, which I'm not shitting on. I love learning something about the comedian as well.
Yeah.
So I love to know, but when it's stories, I like to think that not only was that funny, I now know more about you as a person.
Yeah.
And that's what I love. So what type of material do we do then in the stories?
So I've always struggled with anxiety in my stomach, which means I shit a lot. Oh. So I've shit myself on a load of occasions. So I've got loads of stories about shitting myself. But I recently had an operation on my arse. Yeah. And they had to take the piles off, and I had to have an operation to get it all sorted up inside it. So it's a lot about the build up to where that come from, shitting myself on a train, to then going to the doctors and going through that. And then obviously going from the doctors to the surgeon. And then it's sort of, there's a nice big round finish right at the end. So that's my 5-minute set was all about that. Okay. So it was all like, I mean, do you want to know some of it?
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. So
I love a shit story.
Yeah. So one of them was like, because the piles are so bad, but if you've ever had piles, sometimes they shoot back up inside you. So you can't see them. They pop out and go back in. It's weird. Okay. So when I'm on the toilet, they obviously come out. But when I was going to the doctors, they couldn't really see what I was talking about. So I thought to myself, what can I do to tell the doctor? And I thought, I'll take a selfie, right? Yep. So, as you do. So I've got home, sat on the toilet, the piles have come out, I've slid off the toilet. And then as I'm sliding off the toilet, I've heard, Dad, from downstairs. I'm like, what? I'm on the toilet. And then he's run up the stairs, banged on the door. I was like, what is it? He said, Dad, you're on Facebook Live. So it was just... So it's from that, really.
Fucking brilliant.
Yeah. So there's a lot more in depth in the sort of story about it, but it's so embarrassing. All the family saw it. It was just mad. So I don't even know how to use phones normally. So
I mean, that shit writes itself, doesn't it?
Like, that's what was brilliant about it. I just thought I've got to put it in. And then obviously you add more to the story as you go. And then the more I was saying it, the more stuff I thought up that was funny about it, including my wife having to put up with all this sort of stuff. So yeah. It all went from that, really.
Okay,
that was my start point.
That's brilliant. I love that's a great story. Doing it for just over a year now. What is there anything that when you first started out you wrote that you thought was brilliant, and then you look back and you think, "Fuck me, that was awful."
Yeah, I like when I did that Remedy gig. I wrote a bit about my paedophile granddad, And I was trying to be controversial because I thought that's what comedians do. You're controversial, you'll get a laugh that way. And I tried to fit it in as much as possible and squeeze it in everywhere, but it just wasn't good enough material for it. Yes, your dad's a paedophile, but you've got to make it funny. And I just couldn't find a way of doing it. But I was trying to segue it into bits and cause it in, like, because obviously I do a lot with my arse. I'm saying about granddad was there beforehand. And so I was trying to get it in, but I just could not get it in. And it just kept failing. So I was really disappointed because I thought, and then I just thought to myself, but that's not my sort of comedy. I'm not into that sort of controversy, saying paedophiles and bits and pieces. More light-hearted, more PC, more about my actual self. So I've sort of scrapped that now and talking more about dating and being ginger, obviously, and all that kind of stuff, really.
Yeah, I mean, again, I feel like there are some like topics and stuff. Like I'll answer this question first. Then, can you joke about anything?
I think so, in the right way.
Perfect answer. I completely agree.
100%.
I mean, you'll be shocked with how many people I speak to say you can't joke about certain subjects. Fucking ridiculous. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as punching down. As long as the joke is tasteful and done well, you can joke about anything.
I think
as long as it's funny and you can do as long as you can do the topic justice.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. And we've got where we do our gigs, we've got like a little over 50s group that follow us around wherever we go now. They come out on Wednesday night and they sort of give me feedback afterwards. And they said, because I get a lot of autistic comedians come on and they all make stories about being autistic and stuff like that. And some of them just say it for saying steak, but then there's some that are so authentic and funny. Yeah. There is a big, massive divide. And they always pick up on that because some of them have got autistic children. And that's one thing they pick up on. But I did have one comedian. So I try and give everybody a chance. And I started watching videos and I thought, I am an open mic. I want people to have a chance. So I stopped watching videos so I could see them first of all. So it's like fresh nights. They only get the 5 minutes, whereas the longer ones get 10, 15, etc. So this guy got 5 minutes and he was there going, oh, I'm a bit of a Ricky Gervais. I thought, oh, brilliant. I love Ricky Gervais. He said, I don't really care what people think. You can joke about anything, as we just said. And he's got up there, honestly, he'd done it so aggressively and so his face was so angry. It wasn't done in a light-hearted way. He ended up lying on the floor and acting out sex with a dead person on the floor.
Okay.
He hadn't had one laugh the whole time. And it just got worse and worse and worse. And everyone was just, even the comedians afterwards said, that is just too much. You can laugh about most things, but no one, it was awful. It was such an awkward situation.
I mean, when people do shit like that, like I will still challenge. I'm sure there's a way he could have done it comically. I'm sure, maybe the build-up was incorrect. Maybe he was just a dog shit comedian. But when someone does something like that on stage and they've got no laughs, why do they think, oh, do you know what? Let me go one step shock value further. Oh, no, let me go one shock step value further. At what point does it stop being courageous and become delusional?
Yeah, and that's what it was. It was delusional in the end. And it was just so bad. And like I say, I think he said to me afterwards, oh, can I come again? I was like, I'm going to have to really think about that because he'd been banned from a load of other places.
Okay, calm, yeah.
Yeah, so it was just one of those ones where I'd only just been doing it. So I was like really excited about everybody and everyone was getting a chance. And it was just one of those ones you thought, oh my God, that could have buried me. I've only been doing it a little while sort of thing. And I didn't want that to get out.
I think like when a comedian doesn't do well on stage and when they come off and okay, look, sometimes it can be the crowd. I will be honest and say that. Sometimes you can just have a dog shit room. But when they think they've smashed it and it's gone bad, I think that's when you can check the ego. Yeah. But if they know they've done bad, then it's like, look, it wasn't your night, mate.
Yeah.
But when they come like, do you know what I mean? I'm like fucking Ricky Gervais, Jack the Lad, I'm going to go box Mike Tyson after. It's like, you need a reality check.
Yeah. And it was like that. It was like saying I didn't really know how to. So that was a good learning curve for like having my own place. It was a good learning curve to sort of handle that. Because if I had that again, I would say it's okay. Can you come off, sort of thing, and sort of stop him early because it was just so bad and so wrong. But like I say, there was no comedy in his body. There was no comedy in his face. There was no hint of a smile or a jokey feeling about it. So it was just deadpan, like he was going to murder you.
Yeah, I think deadpan dark humour doesn't work. Cheeky dark humour does work.
Totally agree.
I was going to ask this question, but you semi-answered it, but I'm going to ask it anyways. Okay, let's say hypothetically you're like Daniel, you're on the show tomorrow night. Way, woo,
Go on,
and
Daniel.
I come on and I just do not just bad, I just do the most horrific, shittest thing in you've ever seen.
Yeah.
The crowd are booing me off.
Yeah.
As an MC, how would you bring the room back?
The way I would do it, I normally sort of I'd get up and like, come on, never mind, give him a round of applause. He goes off and like the crowd would go, oh, boo, whatever it is. And the thing I've started doing now is doing really silly dad jokes just to lighten the mood, just to say, oh, that was bad, wasn't it? I don't know how to follow that, but I've got a real shit joke for you. And it sort of brings everybody back to being silly again. So that seems to have worked quite well for me.
Okay. What about, how's your sort of like crowd work, enhanced in regards to dealing with heckling, things like that, as doing
it's getting a lot better. Yeah. We do one in a pub, which is a lot of regulars, and they keep like saying it's getting. I'm very comfortable around them. They're like a new crew, so we can take the piss out of every one of them, and the crowd work works so well there. So I'm improving all the time, and I'm pushing myself out the comfort zone to actually do it. Sometimes it fails, but I don't really give a shit. It's just and some people take. I did one the other week. It was a new venue, and there was a regular in there. It's a Scottish guy. And he was like stone-faced, like not laughing at anything going on or anything. So I sort of tried to pick on him a little bit. And I said, what is it? What's happened to you tonight? What's made you think? Is your wife left you or whatever? He went, no, you're just shit. I was like, I'm not shit. I said, everyone else is laughing. He goes, but you're shit. I'm not talking to you. Don't talk to me. I'm shit. And just stormed out.
Brilliant.
So you're like, okay, everybody else, right? And then try and get back into it. He was just so aggressive. I don't know what happened to him.
Yeah. Some people are just like that. Some people just end up in the wrong room, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
But I always say, if you're in a room and you've got every single person laughing, I think then the humour becomes a bit generic. I think, do you know what I mean? Like, the humour's not good for everyone. If it is, then it's not creative enough.
Yeah.
Like, I know that's my personal opinion. Like, I would like to be like, right, I'm getting 60% of the room to laugh. Next joke, 70%. Then the next one, I'm going to risk it a little bit. I only got 30% there. And then, I don't know. That's just my sort of personal.
I think that's like a great thing. Like when I've tried new bits and pieces, you think, oh, I've got a teeter in over there. That's good. At least I've got a teeter in. That's a real good effort. Right, let's try that one. Oh, that teetered both of them. And then you try one, it dies completely. You're right. Okay, get back on track with the other. So I think it's a great way of learning and growing as a comedian. You've got to pick and piece. And I see comedians doing it all the time on our stage, doing bits and pieces, because we get a lot of regular comedians because we've got different venues. You see them tweaking their act and they say, oh, you can't find me funny every time. I say, yeah, but I noticed you've changed that. That's really good and stuff like that. So it makes me laugh seeing them improve and change. And
we'll go to Ginger Giggle Club now. How does the night sort of run?
So we normally get people sat by 7:30. The show normally starts at 7:30. We normally I've started, because I was new in the whole thing, I started off with 10 to 12 comedians, which is probably a bit too much.
Is it fives, tens?
Mixture. So I started off with, we normally do, like, say, 5.5. I started doing 5.5 with mixture of 5 and 10s. And then I'd had a headliner for the first half and a headliner at the end. And they did 15 to 20 minutes.
Okay, cool.
So that's how it started. And it worked quite well. And then I realised it was people were sort of coming along and it was getting a bit too much for them. So I've taken that right down to 10 with some 5s and 10s and then a headliner doing 20 at the end. But now we're moving forward. We've got some pro nights coming up. Yep. So I'm now whittling down again, just so, because my panic is that the comedians don't turn up. I don't care about the crowd as much because that'll build up eventually. But if the comedians don't turn up, you're screwed. So I worry. So I sometimes overbook. But I'm starting from 10 on open mic ones with some 5s and 10s. And then as we move into September, we're getting, we've got 1, 2, 3 new venues with their own room. So it's a bit more professional, not just a pub. Yeah. So we've got a room. So I'm now whittling it down to having maybe 4 15s, a couple of 5s, and then maybe a headliner. So it's roughly about the same sort of time, but less comedians. So it's more breaks kind of thing. So I'm evolving it all the time.
Is it one where like they would do the 5s to build up the trust? So they're like, well, they're not a bitch, they're not too offensive, and also they're fucking punctual, and then that's how they'd get elevated then to like the 15s, and then in time, headlining and shit like that.
So, like I say, I try to give people as much chance as possible, and it's like an open forum for me. And just say, come down, give it a go. We've got one of the best ones I had. It was like I'm quite an emotional guy. And this old guy, I think he's 76.
Yeah.
He kind of done one of my gigs, and he said it's my first ever gig.
Oh.
He's now done 3, but he said it gets me out of the house, it gets me doing other things. And he's very old school comedian with little tiny stories and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He's building and building. Now he started doing more of the circuit, but he's come up to me after and said, if you hadn't been around, I'd never have got the courage to do this. It's so welcoming. Because I try and say to everybody that, yeah, and it really sort of touched my heart, really. But all our comedians give us great feedback. My wife comes to all the shows. She does all the marketing. We try and get them into, we call them the Giggle family now. Okay. So whenever they can't, we say, well, if it's the first time they're formed, welcome to the Ginger Git family. And then they tell their friends. We get so many referrals, and it's just growing like I've never thought it actually would. It's just mad.
And what's like the process of someone applying? So like, is it like can I hit you on email, can I hit you on Instagram, can I hit you on Facebook, can I hit you on Courier Pigeon, or is it like you've got like your process?
No, I've got to work because we're just designing a website.
Okay, cool.
Once the website's done, there'll be a Google form or something there to reply properly, so it's all in one place. Yep. But at the moment, I tried to do a Google form, and I'm just rubbish at that kind of thing. So I've scrapped that, and people will just. I'm on Gag for a few of the 5 and stuff like that. We get quite. I mean, every month, every time we do a gig, we get new comedians on it. It's mad.
Hey, real quick side note: if you want a form done, bro, I'll bang one out for you.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
no, I'll help you out with that, mate. Also, if you need a website built, I can build websites for fun. That's side note. That's side. We'll talk about that shit after.
Yeah, okay, that's good to know. That's why we need contacts. But so eventually, exactly. So eventually, it'll go through the website. But now they contact me on Facebook, Instagram, wherever they can, really, and just say, "Have you got a spot?" I'll check my diary and get booked in. Like I said, we've got a few regulars. If we got a new place, because I want to make an impression, I know the good ones. So I'll go, can you come to this one to like start the gig off? And like I say, I've got 3 or 4 headliners that I try and share out between the venues. So I've got one banger, and then the others will be the open mic, new comedians. Like we did one of our regular venues the other day, and every comedian, apart from the headliner, every comedian was brand new. I hadn't seen any of them before, and they all come. There was like some that were better than others, but everyone seemed to have a really good time. Everyone got through their 5. I mean, the one lady that comes, she said it was her first gig. So it was just incredible. And she was brilliant. She was confident. So it's about that sort of giving back to it, really. Because I would have loved this when I was younger, or like now, if I would just started comedy, somewhere like that I can go and just be silly and not be judged for it not in a negative way. Because our rooms tend to be friendly rooms. So I mean, I absolutely love it. I love comedy anyway. And I've always sort of been around comedy. So to have this kind of thing happening to me is I just cannot believe it.
I love that. So how would you sort of decide the lineup? So obviously you wouldn't want 10 one-liners.
No. So I look at most people have got an Instagram and they've got some videos on there. So I'll have a look what they've got on there. Some comedians I know anyway because I've heard of their names. Yes. So you know what sort of comedian you're getting, or I've seen them before. And then some of the 5 newbies, I'll have a look on Gig because they do a little bio on there, what they sort of do, and I try and build it around it fairly on each half. They've got a bit of each, and then like a good finish. I normally have a good start on each half, a good finish on each half, and then fill the middle gaps with the newer comedians.
Bit sandwich.
Yeah, that's the kind of basically what it is. Yeah. So I say the other night we had completely all new comedians, so I didn't really know anybody. So they all turned up and said, "Look, who wants to go first?" And they're all panicking. Because they've not done it. But then this one guy said, look, I live in Milton Keynes or something, it was miles away. He said, can I go first, get it out of the way, and can I leave? Because we're not a bringer or stayer. But the good thing about us is the comedians love it, so they stay longer. Yeah. So it's really, really good because they stay without being asked to stay kind of thing.
Yeah. And also, genuine advice, I think everyone, not to you, but everyone should stay at a gig, unless you live in fuck off distance, nowhere land. Yeah. Because networking is, unfortunately, a big part of this game.
100%.
So, yeah, you need to go out there. You need to be shaking hands. And, yeah, you need to be likable.
Yeah.
Because, go on.
I know, yeah, sorry. I'd say I try and spend as much time with the comedians, make them feel comfortable, have a chat with them, see what they're doing between 4 acts and stuff like that. So I try and spend as much time, because obviously they can help me. If they become bigger or they've got comedian friends, they're going to tell them, I had a great time with Ben at Ginger Giggle Club. Yeah. It's like so friendly, the friendly room, and it's a great night. They give you a bit of freedom. Like, when we got less people or someone hasn't turned up, so there's a bit more space. We're a bit more flexible on times. When it is a jam-packed room, I'm getting better at the stricter times now and saying people, look, can you get off? Yeah. So we are flexible with things. And when people turn up and say, this is the lineup, I often, comedians say, look, I've just travelled from it's taken me 3 hours to get here. Is it all right if I go early? And I speak to one of the comedians. They don't mind swapping because they live around the corner.
Yeah.
We are quite flexible, and we try and do everything we can possible to make the experience a good one for them.
Okay. And how often do the nights run?
Just for August, for example, August we had one every Wednesday.
We had
3 venues. So we had 3 different venues, one done twice a month. They bi-weekly now, one of our venues. And then we had 2 other venues. And then September, it's just gone absolutely mad. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 venues. We've got a Saturday, 2 Fridays, and 3 Wednesdays.
Okay, cool. And like, is this something that I don't know yet? Could you potentially turn this into a full-time job?
That's the plan. That is the long-term plan. I mean, it's a dream, and we are planning towards that dream.
Yeah.
So, like I say, it's gone so much quicker than what we thought. We're barely doing anything, and it's just word of mouth. And it's grown and grown. And I've gone to a venue, and they love the idea. But eventually, like some of our venues now, hopefully, especially one with their own rooms, I'd like to be saying to them, look, can I book that room for a year on this date and have a proper comedy room, like a proper night, and then do the pubs on the side for 5-minute open nights, but have proper pro night rooms, which is what we're aiming to.
Still use like the 5-minute ones as like not the interview stage, but you know what I mean, like the preliminary stage.
Yeah.
Like find your own and create your own comedians.
Yeah, exactly that.
Create your own professionals.
Yeah, and that's the plan. We've got some real good ones that are doing great stuff that have been on. They've gone and done, a couple of them have just been up to Liverpool to do hot water, cool. Which is absolutely amazing. And then they come back to us. And we've got others that have been doing the circuit a while that come and refine their acts with us, and they do it quite regularly, which is nice. So, yeah, we get a lot of people coming back wanting to do it more and more. And then we get some new, and you get some guys, you think, oh, I don't know what they're like. They turn up and they absolutely smash it. You think, this is just brilliant. And you're like, can you come and do another venue for us? Because that's going to land so well. And you get comedians, you know, that venue, they're going to love you. That venue's a lot older. They're very Essexy. They're going to love that sort of humour and all that kind of stuff, really. So it's just, like I say, it's just an unbelievable experience I'm going through at the moment.
I've never done Essex, but I think my humour would absolutely bang in Essex, to be honest.
Everybody does. Everyone comes to Essex and said, I just landed there. Yeah. And no matter what it is, people just seem to land in Essex. They're very open to everything. They're not really put off by anything. So
is it all comedians, or would you do like alt nights?
Alt nights?
Yeah, alternative comedy nights.
Potentially, because my child is very alternative and they want to try a bit.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
They do a bit of sort of poetry, funny songs. Okay. We've got a guy that does puppeteering for children.
Brilliant.
He said, I've written some adult bits. We've got a magician that was really good, like a comedy magician. So we've got all that kind of stuff and a bit. I love the Mighty Boosh. I love Auntie Donna's big old house.
Fucking love Mighty Boosh, yeah.
Yeah, so I love that sort of weird shit as well. So eventually, when I've sort of got the confidence and the backing, you can take a bit more risk and go, let's do a crazy night. Whatever goes kind of thing.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, question I quite like asking. It's quite philosophical. What do you get out of comedy, and what does the comedy world get out of you being in it?
Right. For me personally, I've always, I know it's a hot topic, but I've just done a mental first aid course as well today. So I've always suffered with mental health, which is where my confidence didn't let me get up on stage. I would panic. And as I said before, it all goes in my stomach. So I'd go toilet 25 times before I even tried anything. The nerves were shot. So I've always suffered with that. And then when I did my comedy course, it just gave me this new lease of life, like a release, thinking you can do it. You've always wanted to do it. Keep doing it. And the more confidence I build up, I want to give comedians back that confidence by giving them a stage. So what I get out of it is seeing people blossom. I get to laugh 3 or 4 times a week at comedians. I get people people send me videos. I get to see funny videos before anybody else. I get to see new clips, things that people don't ever do again because they drop it, which sometimes are brilliant, but they think I don't work in my thing. Yep. So I get to see all that and sort of my own comedy world that I'm creating. I get to see all that. So it's absolutely, I get to meet so many people. It's unreal. You get to meet the crowd. You get to become friends with those and become a little circle of friends. And then I'd say the comedy world, they get a place to come try their new material. There's no judgment. There's no you can't come here because you're this, because you're that. It's
unless
open
you
to
drive
everybody.
fuck a dead body on stage.
Yeah. But he got a chance. But everybody gets a chance. Everybody gets a free time. Everyone gets built up on my, as much as I can on my Insta, my Facebook. I try and post about everybody.
Yeah.
I try and say thank you to everybody. So they get their name out there a little bit with tags and stuff like that. And obviously the bigger we get with pro comedians, the bigger they're going to get, because I'll pick some of them to go on to the pro nights as support acts. So hopefully they get to a platform around Essex, because what a lot of them say to me is they'd rather drive 2 hours to me with non-stay and non-bringer than drive 2 hours to London, try and find someone, get stuck in traffic coming out of London, or get a train to London. So that's what I'm getting a lot of. And people are just so complimentary, saying it's a safe, brilliant space.
Good room. It's a good room. There's good rooms, bad room. It's a good room.
Yeah, basically, yeah. And that's what it is. So I give that back to them. And like I say, the feedback we get, and when people say, like, we're getting quite a few from Ipswich come over, Ipswich and Norwich away now.
Very cool.
We're getting a few of them come over to try new rooms, because there's quite a few over there now. It's quite a hot scene around there, I believe.
Yeah, I know a few comics up there. And it's getting, yeah.
So we're getting, like I say, a few more of them come over. And what they'll do, they'll bring a friend. So that's 2 new comedians. We've got 2 in 1. And once they come, they normally come back for another room, especially when I say, oh, that was absolutely, I love that act. That was brilliant. This was really good. This would suit that room so well. Come and do that room, because the crowd will love you there. Or this might not have worked tonight, but I know next time, this is, because it's summer now anyway. This is my first year doing it. It's been quiet across the board anyway. So I didn't realise that actually happened in comedy. So we've had a few quiet nights, but normally they are normally full. We get a good crowd of 30 to 60 people normally. So that's a good room for new starters, good room for people to practice in. And everyone that comes along loves comedy and wants to be at comedy, because there isn't nothing around it.
Yeah, I think that is nice to have a room full of people who wish you well also.
Yeah.
Like, who aren't just sitting there glued to their phones, an audience that don't want to be part engaged. If they're in that room, they're in there to watch you. You're not disrupting someone's dinner.
Yeah.
They've come out their way to actually enjoy you. Okay, question I do absolutely love asking. We might have answered it already, but I was going to try and find another one. What's been your personal favourite moment in comedy, and what time did you bomb the hardest with an audience? Right. With an audience.
With an audience, yeah.
Or more than 2.
So the best moment I probably had was my Remedy gig, because that was a proper gig with, I think there was 70 people in there. And it was a proper gig. It wasn't like the charity gig where it's all friends and family. It was no one I knew, complete new area. I was brand new. I think there was 4 comedians on there that had all done it well. And the headliner was there for half an hour doing a proper headline set, which I hadn't seen before, being part of it sort of thing. So I got to talk to him, and I got up there and absolutely smashed it. So I got like a massive round of applause. I got laughs where I was supposed to get laughs.
Yeah.
I got clapped off stage. Even the MC was like, this is his, I think it was my 6th gig. Yeah. So he was like, this is his 6th gig. Absolutely nailed it. And I was like so buzzing after that. It was unreal. I wrote some stuff that night. It all landed. I thought, I'm a genius. It was one of those where it was just euphoric.
Yeah.
The first time I did it at Backyard, that was the next best feeling I think I've ever had.
Okay, one of the Midas touch moments. Anything you do is just golden.
Yeah, and I was just like talking. It was just happening, and the jokes fell in the right place. There was no stuttering. There was no panicking. It was all relaxed. It was timed. It was slow. There was gaps for laughs. It just all went into one big 12. I think it was like, he said, I think I did about 14 and a half minutes. So it was perfect. It was just like one of those things where you go, tick, I can do this. It sort of give the confidence to go. And the headliner, who's actually going to do one of my gigs soon, he actually came up to me after and said, look, I've got similar stories about shitting yourself and stuff like that. And he was just brilliant. He said, look, this is brilliant. You've got basically 1 or 2 stories that you go on about. It's such a risk to do that. People are afraid to do that. Keep doing it, but just slow it down, put more jokes in there. Don't talk too much about nothing. You've got room for more jokes then, kind of thing. So it was a great learning curve, but again, it went so well. And then I think I did the blackout, which was okay. So I forget these competitions, like blackout's a competition, isn't it? So
gong show.
Yeah, so that was good. But I think the most embarrassed and sort of worst I've been, I did So You Think You're Funny.
Right, okay.
Now, I applied for that when I was on a high, and about 7 months later, I got an invite saying you've been selected to go for the preliminary rounds of this. And it was back in the backyard, so I felt comfortable. and there was a couple of comedians I knew there and a couple of other people, but I was quite late in the show. And everybody got up. Everybody did their best performance. It was absolutely nailed on. And I hadn't done a bit of comp stand-up properly because I've been doing the MCing for a while. I got up there and I just felt out of my depth. The jokes weren't landing. I was nervous, so the timing was all off. There was, because I talk about, like, I sort of bend over to do my Facebook joke. So I bend over like that, and there was a group of gay guys. They called themselves the Care Bears. Brilliant. So I sort of bent over and tried to have a bit of banter about my arse to them. They didn't like it. So I sort of turned around and did it to the woman there. She was eating. So I said, I'm sorry. And it just sort of didn't land. And then I sort of got lost, didn't know what I was saying. So that was like, I think that was one of the biggest bombs because it was a big stage to do it on. And it was a full proper room that they were judging you as well because it was a competition. And I just like I say, I got off there and thought, why am I even putting myself through this kind of thing? I think I've got a couple of like Facebook Live always works. It's my go-to.
I love that one.
Yeah. So it always lands. So I've sort of fell back onto that, but the rest of it just I normally say, which normally goes down well. When I went to the doctors, I had cameras, fingers, all sorts of stuff up me. Basically, I had more stuff shoved up me than at a Diddy party. And normally that gets a bit of a laugh and a bit of like, oh, we can't say that.
Yeah.
But this time it just got silence. I was like, are you all Diddy fans or what? Silence. And it was just, they weren't giving me anything to go off. And that's where I sort of panic because you think, they are hating me. But sometimes the crowd aren't going to get involved. Sometimes they aren't going to have banter with you. And I've seen that through different crowds now doing the MC. And some people just want to be left alone. They find it awkward talking themselves, don't they? So
I get that, but I also think if you sit on the front row, that is the unwritten rule that you could get spoken to.
Yeah.
Also,
of course, everyone sits there and goes, oh my God, they've given me the front row. I said, I know, don't worry, we won't pick on you, sort of thing. Yeah. And then straight away you do. So
on the radar. Okay, so one that I like asking this one because it's something I've only witnessed a couple of times, thank God. But should joke thieves be called out?
Yes.
Yeah,
I think so. Especially like it was. I mean, I had one the other week. It wasn't me. It was one of my guys that come to perform with me, like a friend of mine now. They've nicked his joke in the same night, and it was so obvious. And he sort of said afterwards, "Where'd you get that joke from?" He said, "Oh, I wrote it tonight." He said, "But you wrote it after I said it." And they had a bit of a fallout, and you think that's just so what you're doing, sort of thing. Yeah. It's all right expanding on a joke or trying it a different way, but the actual
everyone's got a dating app joke, everyone's got an ex-girlfriend joke. Yeah. But when it's sort of like word for word, it's like, bro, come on.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what I do as an MC, when the comedian's done their bit, I'll expand on their bit or go into a bit more detail about something. If they talk about a girlfriend that had a bad sexual experience, I'll then go up and say, oh, funny enough, I had that happen to me with da-da-da. So as an MC, building on it for them and stuff like that, yeah. But to nick people's jokes, it is so harsh. And when we did our ultra comedy, there was two Asian comedians, and they both said the same. And we had a WhatsApp group.
Oh, let me do it.
Yeah. And they had a big fallout.
Sorry, no, I'm not your Uber driver.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
And it went off, and they both tried to show originality of when they said the joke first.
Yeah.
But then you look back, and then a proper comedian said it like 3 years ago that they've obviously seen. And it's like, come on, look, it's one of those things.
I'm not your driver. I'm not your Uber driver. I've fucking heard them. Oh, okay, the one, and this is my pet peeve, and okay, people have things wrong with them. I completely understand that, but I hate it when they do it as they're open.
Yeah.
When they list their disabilities in an open. Do your joke, do some jokes, and then you could say, oh, look, I'm slightly autistic, I've got ADHD. But I always hate it when they do it in their first open.
Yeah.
Because I feel like they're trying to like cop out.
Yeah, I believe so. And that's what, when I said earlier about we get quite diverse comedians. Like, I like it mirroring because we're comfortable. It's just, I'm just getting absolutely boiling in here. So we get it a lot. We get a lot of diverse comedians, and we get a lot of different types of comedians from different backgrounds and stuff like that. And like I say, some of the ones that land better are into jokes, and then it sort of comes out, this is why I am like this. This is why that joke works. It's because I'm autistic. But some people come up and say, oh, I'm autistic, blah, blah, blah. And it doesn't land as well, like you say. It's a point of joke, not a joke.
Yes.
Something like that. I don't know how to word it properly, but I think you're right.
I completely agree. I agree, Simon Pegg after rehab.
Yeah. Normally it's Max Branning, so it's not too bad.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I always got what's the one I used to always get? Jonah Hill. I'm like, okay, brilliant. They're like, no, but when he was fat. It's like, okay, cool. Yeah. Didn't need the tag. Didn't need the tag. Like, I got
it's
it as it
hard,
was.
It's brutal. Like when Max Branning was in EastEnders, I used to kill with the women. People used to come up to me all the time. When he left EastEnders, my career was over. So I had nothing to go on. There was no chat of lines there at all.
Okay, go on. What advice?
I was in Norwich once working away, and this was the height of Max Branning. And I was working away, and I don't normally go to Norwich, and I was in my suit and stuff like that. I was walking down the street, and this white van pulled up, screeched to a halt beside me, beep, 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 and the side doors open. I thought, what they're trying to do, mug gingers off the street or something. It was like, got to that stage. He was like, "You're Max Branning, in ya?" Shut the door, and off he went. I was like, this is the most bizarre thing I've ever seen.
You know, that person still tells that story to this day. I met Max Branning in Norwich once. He shot himself. Where lads?
Exactly. It's so mad. It's so mad.
Brilliant. So I was like sort of near ending on this one. Someone's never done comedy before. They're a little bit nervous. What advice would you give to them? And you can't say just do it.
It's never as bad as you think.
Oh.
Like I say, when I was doing the ultra course, I got so nervous about doing it in front of 10 people that you were training with. I just couldn't get it out. I wasn't volunteering to go up to the stage. But when you get to a stage, it's a different feeling altogether. And I think them nerves just go. Within seconds, you're up there, you're doing it. And most of the time, you can't see everybody. Most of the time, you're normally focused on one or two people anyway. And most of the time, obviously, the bigger the crowd, the more chance you've got of getting a laugh. But even the small crowds, just treat it as, I think one woman said to me, you've got to get the shit out. So why not get the shit out when there's no one here? Right. So, and then sort of learn. And I thought that was a great idea because this lady did a gig with me and there was hardly anybody there, but she went through the whole repertoire, I think she had 10 minutes, whole 10 minutes. And I was the only one laughing in the crowd. And she said, I do this all the time, but that 10 minutes is part of my 20-minute show. I've got to make sure it works, and where it doesn't work, we're better to do it because no one's going to judge me here. No one's going to remember me from this. So it is, I think people build it up a lot worse than it is. People are there to be entertained. People are there to laugh. And most of the time, touch wood, people are there to support you and be entertained. They're not, you get some places where you entertain me and they are really strict, but most of the time people are
entertained.
Yeah, exactly. But most of the time people are really friendly and feel for you being up there.
Okay. Do you still get nervous every time?
Of course. I mean, even with seeing that I do the same venue all the time, I'm literally 2 or 3 poos before I actually go on. Even for something I'm not even really performing, but I still get nervous about getting up there. I think even with sport, when I used to play a lot of sport, it's good nerves, it's good energy to get you hyped, to get you. If you're not feeling it, you think, why am I nervous? And I don't think you're going to perform to your best anyway.
And also, I think it still shows that you care, that you want it to be a good night.
Yeah,
totally. Obviously, you're scared that you're bombing, but are you more scared that you're bombing because of how you'll feel about it? Or bomb because you want people to enjoy themselves and they didn't?
It's a bit of both, isn't it? I want the crowd to enjoy themselves, especially when they come to my comedy night. Yeah. So I don't give a shit really that's the sort of my attitude now. I don't really give a shit what I do. I'm just trying stuff out and trying to keep the night going. But I want them to enjoy the comedians. So when the comedians aren't as good or they are brand new and it's not getting as many laughs, I try and raise my game. But I want the crowd to have a good time, and if the crowd are having a good time, the comedians then will enjoy it more because I want them to come back and I want them to give good feedback. So I want the whole thing to work, which is where my nerves come from. I panic every night. I do a gig when the comedians turn up and it's a smaller crowd. I think, oh my God, they've come all this way. But everyone says, Ben, even if 2 people turned up, I'm getting time on stage. That's all we want. Yeah. We want time on stage. It's not all about the crowd always. This is a friendly room. The comedians are friendly. Everyone's supportive of me. So I've got to learn to not panic. But I just want it to be the best possible night for everyone.
That's what's lovely, is that you care so much. And to me, stage time is stage time. It's muscle memory. Do you know what I mean? It's going to the gym, just hitting it as many times as possible and getting better. I will end it with this one. Why should comedians come to Ginger Giggle, and why should people come watch the comedians at Ginger Giggle?
People should come to the Ginger Giggle because it's we get a great range of comedians. It's not ever one type of comedian. We try and get a right diverse range of comedians. Thankfully, we're getting a lot more women because women are coming now and talking to other women and saying they feel really comfortable at the gig. So we're loving to get more women because that's what people say. Can't we get more? Because a lot of women come to it. So people feel comfortable, and the comedians all get to, like, most places we have a little green room where they sit together. They all chat and have a drink. So comedians come to feel comfortable, try new material in a safe place. And why people should come is because that gives them, comedians have got confidence to come to my gigs. So they get the best out of the comedians. So they'll get to see a really good London level night for a fraction, if it is ticketed, a fraction of the price. And they'll have a really good night and become part of our little unit we're trying to build down here.
And so I've seen your lineup. You've got some beasts. And do you know what? You literally just did yourself a disservice saying you're going to get a London night. You're not. London nights have gone downhill so much. And seeing your lineup, you're smashing London. So
I mean, but people, like, they always say to me, comedy is London.
No,
but they're going to get a London night in it. Well, they're better than London night in Essex.
Yeah, 100. And seeing the lineups that you've done, I can 100% see that, they're going to be an absolute awesome night. So
yeah, that's only getting better. Like I said, we've got. I mean, am I allowed to name drop?
If you want to. Okay. Of course, might drop on positives.
Yeah, it's a positive. So we've got our first pro night next month.
Yeah.
So we've got Robert White is our first pro comedian coming down to us.
Oh,
so
nice.
I'm really excited about him because he's the first pro comedian I spoke to on the phone and everything. I was like, I can't believe this is happening. So he's coming down next month to do our first ever pro night. So that's where we're going for a couple of the venues. That's what they're going to be built for. And then we've got the open mics around the pubs and clubs and stuff like that. So you get so much variety with us.
I mean, that's awesome. I mean, I guarantee when you speak to Rob White and you ask him, do you still get nervous every time? And he'll say every single time. Every comedian, whatever level, still gets the butterflies 5 minutes before.
Yeah. And there was a couple of comedians that used to turn up and do smash my room apart.
Yeah.
Tear off into the sunset because they didn't have to stay. Come do 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever, and go. And when I got sat down with them eventually, because there was a delay or something like that, and I was talking to them, the surprising thing is how nervous they actually are. Because you don't see it when they're on stage and you just think, Christ, how are you doing it? So everyone I've spoke to is so nervous. It's good to see because it makes me feel more human that they are doing that. I'm not a freak.
That's right. Ben, thank you ever so much for coming on. And Ginger Giggle Club should be on everyone's radar.
Perfect. Come down and see us. We'd love to have you.
100% will. And yeah, everyone who's watching this, you need to go check out and apply and go see Ginger Giggle Club. Cheers, everyone. Cheers, Ben. Have a good one.
Cheers, mate. Andrew, mate. Bye-bye.